Recognise VADA, let's write that into the rule book. If someone tests positive on VADA or UCAD or any other drug, immediately they get stopped from boxing. Or if they're allowed to fight this under the table, do you know what I mean? There's got to be rules for everybody and not just chop and change from one individual to the next individual, and that's the problem with it all.
Can you remember a time where you perhaps split with a fighter, like really before a big fight, like getting close to it?
Yeah, I think a couple of times over the years where, you know, for various reasons you get pissed off or you don't argue anything. Yeah, that's happened in
They might have fallen out over something, I don't know, but it's not likely because they get on so well. People will say, oh, is that disloyal of the fighter? But this is a money business as well.
Benn's coach quits camp after massive fight over illegal supplements issue. This isn't just chaos, it's collapse. The man trusted to guide him out of controversy has walked away, leaving Benn exposed, scrambling, and cornered. The excuses are running thin, and the spotlight's burning hotter than ever.
I mean, there's a lot of talk around this fight, that fight, until he gets licensed. You know, he ain't got a fight on the table. So we'll have to see, you know, and you know, he needs to get licensed by a commission to be able to fight. And you know, that's the next procedure that he needs to do.
Tony Sims had stood by Benn through every scandal, every failed test, every denial, but even loyalty has its limits. After yet another drug test fiasco, Sims finally said enough. The humiliation was too much. No coach wants to defend a fighter who keeps drowning in his own mistakes.
But at the moment, it's just like, it's just ain't gonna happen in a minute. It's just too much going on, and there's too much back and forth. And it just ain't gonna happen in a minute.
Johnny Nelson couldn't have said it better. Tony Sims is a sharp, dedicated trainer who always plays fair, but in Benn's storm, even his goodness was used against him. The sport can be cruel that way. Loyalty becomes a weapon when the fighter keeps crossing lines.
I think he's a very smart trainer, and he gets it. He's passionate, but he just, I think some people take advantage of his weakness. Of being a nice guy, and I think that's what
Johnny Nelson's tone says it all. Confusion, disbelief, and a demand for answers. An inquiry isn't just talk anymore, it's necessary. Fans are tired of excuses and contradictions. If Benn truly passed one test but failed another, then it's time the boxing world finally gets the full truth.
There is going to be, there needs to be an inquiry straight after this, why, what. But that's what I'm hearing. This news is as fresh to me as it is you. I'm quite sure when this goes out, it'll be all over the place anyway. But all I can say is he passed the UK one.
Eddie Hearn's loyalty to Benn runs deep, maybe too deep. His defense sounds emotional, not factual. Friendship and business don't mix well when the reputation of an entire sport is at stake. The public doesn't want sympathy, they want transparency, and Hearn's words aren't easing those doubts.
And when you see the facts, I believe that Conor Benn is innocent. Maybe it's because he's my mate, and maybe it's because you back your mates. Maybe it's because I've seen more than you've seen, both in his eyes and on the paper. But all I'm saying is, give him an opportunity. Right, for things to be heard. And in this situation, someone said the other day that sometimes when you fail a drugs test, it's not innocent till proven guilty, it's guilty till proven innocent. I'll be honest with you, it doesn't really make sense. But his case has to be heard, and everybody deserves a chance to have their case to be heard.
Frank Warren didn't hold back, and why should he? This wasn't a minor misunderstanding, this was deception laid bare. When he says lying and conning the public, it cuts deep because it reflects the anger of every fan who once believed in Benn's clean comeback story. Boxing thrives on trust, the belief that fighters earn their wins through sweat, not shortcuts. But if these signed documents truly expose manipulation and cover-ups, then Benn's camp has crossed the line from controversy to corruption. Warren's words aren't just accusations, they're a public indictment. When rival promoters start calling out fraud that loudly, it means the sport's integrity is hanging by a thread. Benn's silence isn't helping either. It's only fueling the perception that there's a lot more he's hiding than just a failed test.
They absolutely get caught out lying, out and out lying and conning the public. Documents signed by them, which as I say are subject to litigation.
And then Gareth A. Davies added another layer, this time, bringing the legal side into focus. When Gareth A. Davies mentioned legal representation, it confirmed what everyone suspected. This isn't just a boxing mess anymore. It's a courtroom story waiting to unfold. Lawyers getting involved means damage control, not innocence. It's about managing headlines, reshaping narratives, and keeping Benn's career alive through technicalities. Fans see through that now. Every defense and every statement feels more like a PR strategy than genuine accountability. The longer this drags, the worse it gets for Benn's image. The public no longer asks if he failed a test. They ask how he'll spin it next. Even the loyal supporters are tired of hearing about contamination, miscommunication, and paperwork errors. If Benn truly had nothing to hide, he wouldn't need a team of lawyers to say it for him.
He's already had lawyers for his scenario, for his situation. They've represented him. I did read briefly earlier that he did have representation from a legal firm.
Spencer Oliver and Simon Jordan voiced what every clean fighter has been screaming: one strike should be enough. Boxing's credibility depends on that principle. The moment a fighter fails a test, the trust is shattered. There's no such thing as an innocent mistake when livelihoods and legacies are on the line. These aren't random gym tests. They're global stage checks meant to protect fairness. Jordan's tone was cold but justified. Leniency only encourages more accidents. The sport has seen too many excuses, too many comebacks built on controversy. When you cheat, you rob every opponent who played fair. Benn's fans might defend him, but the wider boxing community knows if you bend the rules once, you'll do it again. Accountability isn't cruelty, it's what keeps the sport's soul intact.
Yeah, listen, I've always been strong on that. I've always been strong on the fact that I don't believe in giving them a second chance.
You're basically saying no 3 strikes and you're out.
No 3
strikes and you're out.
No.
One, you fail a test and gone ski.
Absolutely, because I just believe then that moving forward, people would think twice about doing it. If they think, well, you know what, I'll get a second chance anyway, you know.
Spencer Oliver and Simon Jordan voiced what every clean fighter has been screaming: one strike should be enough. Boxing's credibility depends on that principle. The moment a fighter fails a test, the trust is shattered. There's no such thing as an innocent mistake when livelihoods and legacies are on the line. These aren't random gym tests, they're global stage checks meant to protect fairness. Jordan's tone was cold but justified. Leniency only encourages more accidents. The sport has seen too many excuses, too many comebacks built on controversy. When you cheat, you rob every opponent who played fair. Benn's fans might defend him, but the wider boxing community knows if you bend the rules once, you'll do it again. Accountability isn't cruelty, it's what keeps the sport's soul intact.
It's done. Now, the fact that he's given back his licence to the British Boxing Board of Control, who in my opinion are the best governing body in the world, bar none, it's kind of like a proof of admission, certainly. And for him to do what he's done, you know, they're talking about contamination, right? So if you've done it once, then you got caught out, then you do it again. It can't be contamination, can it? Because he's been caught twice for doing the same thing. So if it was me, take his licence away.
Chris Eubank Jr. said what needed to be said, loud, raw, and without filters. In a sport that's supposed to be about honor and hard work, why should a man who failed a drug test still get treated like an equal? Eubank isn't just calling out Benn, he's calling out the system that keeps rewarding controversy. He's standing for every fighter who plays clean, cuts weight the right way, and steps into the ring with nothing but discipline. Eubank's tone wasn't hatred, it was justice. He's tired of seeing excuses wrapped in PR statements and fake tears. This was personal. Benn robbed Eubank of more than a fight, he robbed him of fairness. And now Eubank's message is clear. There's no forgiveness, no sympathy, and absolutely no 50-50th split for cheaters. The gloves are off, and so is the respect.
You fail a drugs test, you don't get 50-50 split.
No. No matter commercial power pulling, no.
You don't get 50-50 split if you fail a drugs test.
Nigel Benn's words were heartbreaking. A father defending his son in the face of the world's judgment. You could feel the pain behind every line. To him, Conor isn't a scandal. He's a soldier who's lost in the fog. But love and loyalty can blur reality. Nigel's voice was raw, full of disbelief, clinging to the image of a clean, hard-working fighter. Yet, boxing is cruel when evidence outweighs emotion. Fans sympathized with the father but doubted the fighter. It's the classic clash, family pride versus public proof. Nigel's plea wasn't just for Conor's innocence, it was for his legacy too. He doesn't want the Benn name, a name built on grit and glory, dragged through the mud of modern controversy. But the truth is, ruthless. And as much as he wants to protect his son, even Nigel can't fight what the tests have already revealed.
Hi guys, as you know, we're in total shock. I've been with my son for the last 10 weeks and the training has just gone absolutely the best it could ever been. He's a dedicated trainer, he leaves no stone unturned, and we'll get to the bottom of this. I love my son. I know he don't cut no corners, he just goes straight at it 100%. But we'll keep you informed, we'll let you know what the next step is, but you know.
Duke McKenzie's words cut like a blade. Calling Benn's actions a step in the face for his dad hit harder than any punch in the ring. It wasn't just about the failed test anymore, it was about betrayal. Nigel Benn fought his entire career on honor, on earning every ounce of respect with sweat and discipline. For his son to tarnish that legacy is the kind of heartbreak no father deserves. Duke spoke from a place of respect for Nigel and frustration for what Conor's done to the family name. It's one thing to disappoint fans, but it's another to disgrace the man who built the foundation for your success. This wasn't just a scandal, it was personal, generational pain on public display. McKenzie didn't sound angry, he sounded sad, because deep down, everyone knows Nigel deserved better than this.
It's just wrong in my book. You know what? I also think that, you know, what he's done is it's like a slap in the face for his dad.
Tony Bellew made it crystal clear the rematch shouldn't happen, and honestly, who could argue with him? Once a fighter's integrity is under question, the entire foundation of the matchup collapses. Bellew spoke from a fighter's perspective, not a promoter's agenda. He understands what it means to earn every round, to fight for respect, not for redemption through controversy. Benn's focus is gone, his confidence cracked, and his credibility in pieces. There's no fresh start when fans can't trust what's real in the ring. Bellew's calm but firm tone reflected the sentiment of the boxing community. Enough is enough. Until Benn clears his name the right way, not through social media statements or excuses. He doesn't deserve to share the stage with someone like Eubank Jr., a fighter who's kept his record, reputation, and honor intact.
How do you choose though? You know you've had 2 warnings. Yeah. You need to be careful, don't you?
You do.
Treading a fine line.
You do, but it's not the head then that comes in. So he's on one final warning for the head, but getting into an exchange in the final punch of the round, he's trying to win the round.
Yeah, impress the judges at the end of the round.
This whole saga has turned into more than just a rivalry. It's become a battle for boxing's soul. If Chris Eubank Jr. wins, it's justice served, a victory for clean competition for every fighter who plays by the rules. But if Conor Benn somehow pulls off the upset, the outrage will explode. Every headline, every fan, every legend will question what this sport has turned into. Both men carry legacy on their shoulders, but only one carries credibility. The gloves may be off, but now it's about pride, proof, and redemption. The truth will be decided not by words, but by punches. What do you think? Is Eubank Jr. bringing back respect to the sport, or will Benn shock the world once again? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.